Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Buenos días, señor.
Could you please tell
Good
me your name
morning.
Elio.
Emilio.
and your last name, sir?
Y su apellido.
Ramos Herrera.
Ramos Herrera.
All right, Mr. Ramos Herrera, this is your initial appearance. You have been charged with 2 counts, 1 count of assault, 1 count of disorderly conduct.
Y señor Emilio, señor Ramos Herrera, usted está hoy para su comparecencia inicial. Usted tiene 2 cargos de agresión y un cargo de alteración al orden público.
And they're both alleged to be acts of domestic violence. You're presumed innocent of these allegations.
Y todos estos cargos son de violencia doméstica y a usted se le presume inocente en todos estos cargos.
And you do have the right to remain silent because anything you say about this matter could be used against you.
Y tiene derecho a permanecer en silencio porque cualquier cosa que diga de este caso puede ser utilizado en su contra.
And I did review the information from pretrial services, and it looks like the alleged victim, Ms. Hernandez,
Yo revisé la información proporcionada de los servicios previos al juicio. Parece que la señora Hernández, que es la presunta víctima,
is objecting to your release from custody, objecting to you returning to her residence, and objecting to you having contact with her.
ella se está oponiendo a que usted sea liberado, sea dejado en libertad, a que ella se opone a que usted regrese a la residencia y se opone a que tenga algún contacto con ella.
However, given the absence of other criminal history, as far as I can tell, I'm willing to release you, sir, as long as you stay away from her and have no contact with her.
Sin embargo, señor, dado que no veo que tenga antecedentes penales, estoy dispuesto a dejarlo en libertad siempre y cuando usted no se comunique, no tenga ningún contacto con ella.
Are you willing to do that, sir?
¿Estaría dispuesto a hacer eso, señor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's Ms. Albert Hernandez, of course. And so the court is additionally going to order that you possess or consume no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence.
Bueno, me estoy refiriendo en este caso a Alba Hernández y también ordena al juez que tiene prohibido poseer o consumir alcohol, bebidas alcohólicas o tener drogas ilegales, ni cometer, también tiene prohibido cometer cualquier otro acto de violencia doméstica.
And I'm going to set your next court date. It's going to be on August 4th at 9 o'clock in the morning in Tucson City Court.
Y le voy a fijar su próxima fecha de corte, que va a ser para el 4 de agosto a las 9 de la mañana en el Tribunal Municipal de la ciudad de Tucson.
And that hearing is going to be in front of Judge Bond. And it's important that you come back to that court date, sir, because if you don't do that, a warrant will issue for your arrest.
Y esa audiencia va a ser frente al juez Bond y es importante que usted se presente a su audiencia porque si no se va a presentar una orden de arresto en su contra.
And if trial could go forward in your absence as well, if you were convicted at that trial and could not be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction because you did not appear for sentencing, you could lose the ability to appeal the conviction.
Bueno, y también se puede realizar el juicio sin su presencia y si se le halla culpable en el juicio y no se presenta en un periodo de 90 días para la imposición de su pena, también puede perder la posibilidad de apelar su condena.
And your release is going to be on your promise to appear, and you're going to get paperwork that says all this, sir, and that is it. You're excused.
Y su liberación va a ser sujeto a que esté a su promesa de presentarse a sus futuras fechas de corte y va a recibir usted documentos con respecto a con toda esta información y ya se puede repetir.
Yeah. Mr.
That was
Colbert?
9 a.m. That was 9 a.m. for the hearing.
Yes, sir. And one thing I didn't mention, Mr. Ramos Herrera, sorry, I'll let Madam Interpreter take that last bit.
Y está confirmando el abogado defensor que la corte va a ser a las 9 de la mañana, contesta que sí, el juez.
So do you have personal belongings at Ms. Hernandez's home, sir?
Señor, ¿usted tiene alguna pertenencia personal en la casa de la señora Hernández?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to check a box that allows you to return to that residence one time. However, you have to go with a police officer.
Bueno, entonces voy a marcar la casilla que le permite usted regresar a la residencia de ella solo en una sola vez, pero tiene que ser acompañado de un agente de policía.
This will allow you to collect whatever you need to collect in a way that is consistent with my order of no contact, do not return. Do you understand that, sir?
Y de esta manera a usted se le va a permitir ir a recoger lo que sus pertenencias de una manera que sea coherente con la orden que yo le estoy emitiendo, que tiene prohibido cualquier contacto con ella y que no puede regresar a la residencia. ¿Está bien?
Sí, sí, sí.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. You're
Mhm.
excused. Have a good day.
Y gracias, señor. Ya se puede retirar. Que tenga un buen día. Thank you.
Right now, do I go to the?
And thank you, madam.
Oh, those are very good.
I appreciate your assistance.
Oh.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yeah, they'll let you know.
Good.
Good morning.
You are Trejo, correct?
Yes.
All right. Deja vu all over again. So just a second. Let me get your file and we can keep talking.
Traigo.
All right, so this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a charge that alleges that you committed one count of assault that's alleged to have happened back on the 30th, so that would be yesterday at the jail. And you're presumed innocent of that. And let me take a look here. Yeah, it looks like that's the only thing I'm seeing you on this morning. And so what I'm going to do is advise you that you have the right to remain silent on that. And anything you say about it could be used against you. And just a second. I am going to release you on this matter, though I do know you're being held on another matter. So, but you're not going to be held on this one. I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. Set your next court date as an arraignment. That's going to be on July 28th at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be in Pima County Justice Court, ordering that you have no contact with the alleged victim. And also, yeah, that's it. No contact with the alleged victim. And additionally, if you do get out of custody, you got to come back to that court date, because if you don't do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. You could find yourself in the same seat you're in now. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
What date was that, Judge? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. That's July 28th at 9 a.m. All right, thank you. You're excused. Good morning.
Morning.
Please tell me your name.
Justin Joel Sampson.
All right, Mr. Sampson. I'm seeing you on this is your initial appearance, I should say. I'm seeing you on, let's see. Looks like you may have failed to appear in relation to a disorderly conduct charge out of Oro Valley City Courts. And as to that, you are presumed innocent, and you do have the right to remain silent. And it looks like you do have a probation violation at a Superior Court. I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know. But as to this, well, actually, it looks like this is a probation violation at Oro Valley, so excuse me for not including that when I first started talking to you. So as to this, the probation matter out of Oro Valley, I'm going to hold you on a $250 cash secured bond since you are being held as it relates to the Superior Court matter. And that will allow your matter in Oro Valley to be heard sooner. So to the extent that it makes sense for you to resolve it, you can potentially do that sooner than you otherwise might. And I'm going to appoint you an attorney, given that I'm holding you on a $250 bond on this matter. So just a second, I'll tell you who that is. That attorney is, his name's Richard Glenn. Richard Glenn, his information will be on the paperwork that you get. And you are presumed innocent if I have, as it relates to the probation violation allegations as well. All right, so your court date's going to be a video review next Wednesday at 10:30. That's July 8th. You got that $250 bond. I'm ordering that you have no contact with the alleged victim in the event that you get out of custody. So please don't do that. I'm noting that you have a probation hold. One last thing is that if you do get out of custody, you got to come to that court date next Wednesday and any future court dates on this, because if you don't do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Have a good day. Sorry. Hold Marty, I'm gonna. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell me your name.
Casey Michelle McAllister.
All right, good morning to you again. So I'm seeing you on a matter, it looks like it may be out of Maricopa County, related to a shoplifting allegation. So this
Yes,
is,
Your Honor.
this is set for a review hearing. That's sent to the extent, you may be familiar with why we set these, but essentially we set them to, so that we can track your local matter. Once your local matter resolves whatever you got going on here in Pima County, then you will be taken, presumably will be taken back to Maricopa County to resolve whatever you got going on up there. So we just set these hearings to make sure that that process doesn't move any more slowly than it otherwise needs to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a review hearing for you on this matter. It's going to be on July 31st, a month from now. And so that will help us just keep tabs on what all is going on here. And just
Okay,
a,
my family's gonna post a bond out of Maricopa County today.
oh, they did.
They were gonna post, yeah, they were gonna post a bond out of Maricopa County today.
Okay.
And then, I have court, we're doing a bond reduction for the charged here.
Got it.
Sometime next week.
Okay.
So my attorney's trying to put a motion in for that.
Got it. Okay, so I'm actually, thank you for saying that. I'm looking at your, the information on the jail website. It looks like you have $1,000 cash secured bond on the Maricopa case. So if that gets posted, then that should lift that hold. And then if you are either post the bond or are otherwise released on the local case, then you'll be out. But you got to come back to future court dates up in Maricopa County, because if you don't, you'll get another warrant. Okay.
Right, I was still in contact with my, pretrial services, officer.
Okay, good.
It's
Good.
just that I had lost my phone, so I wasn't able to contact her, so I should put the warrant out.
Great. That's a good way of, staying in the loop as necessary. So in any event, for now, because we don't know whether or not that bond's going to be posted and so forth, I'm setting that review hearing for the 31st. And
Okay,
if that bond gets posted, that review hearing will probably go away. Does that make sense?
okay.
All right, thanks. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
Just tell me your name. Just a second. So, Mr. Wilson, this is a review hearing. It looks like you have a matter out of Maricopa County that is serving as a hold on you. That relates to a narcotic related allegation up there from, it looks like it may be 2023. So on that, I'm going to, just a second. I'm going to set another review hearing for you. It's going to be on July 31st. And that we set those just to track your local matter. Basically, if your local matter resolves between now and July 31st, there's a good chance that you will be back up in Maricopa County for whatever you got going on up there. If it doesn't resolve, then we'll talk again, set another review hearing for you and so forth. We just set these so that we track what's going on so that the out of county matter doesn't fall through the cracks. You understand, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. That's the last I got for you, other than to just remind you, if you do get out of custody, you got to come to court in the future, both here and in Phoenix. If you don't, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. All right. Have a good day.
Judge, is there still a bond imposed?
So what I see, I'm looking at it right now, is I see a $450 cash or secured bond that appears to relate to this matter.
Understood. Thank you, Judge.
Yep, you got it. Good morning.
Morning.
Please tell me your name.
Christian Cabrera.
All right, Mr. Cabrera, good morning to you again. So just a second. This is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a charge that alleges that you failed to appear in relation to charges out of Pima County Justice Court alleging that you committed assault, threatening or intimidating, both of which are alleged to be acts of domestic violence, and then one count of possession of a prescription-only drug. All three of those counts relate to an offense that is alleged to have happened on March 26th of 2021. On all those matters, you're presumed innocent, sir. Anything you say about them could be used against you, and you do, of course, have the right to remain silent on it. And so, just a second.
When I was in prison?
And so, sir, if I release you, will you come back to court on this?
Yes, sir.
Right. Really important that you do that, because you will probably be in the same seat you're in now. If you don't, you'll get a warrant and then bad things happen. So
I'll make sure I'll be here.
very good. So I'm going to set your court date, sir. It's going to be on the 27th of July. That's going to be at 10:30 in the morning, with additional contacts or conditions that you have no contact with the alleged victim. Do not go to the alleged victim's residence or place of work. No alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. And you're going to be released on your own recognizance. So long as you follow those conditions, you come back to court, sir, everything should be shipshape. All right, you understand?
Yes, sir.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting ready to let you be released. All right. Thank you.
Creswick, Lloyd.
Morning.
Morning.
Please tell me your name.
Say my name?
Yeah, you good. What's your name? sir?
Yes. Lloyd Presswick.
Creswick, this is your initial appearance. Give me just a second. All right, I am seeing you on charges that allege that you committed assault alleged to be an act of domestic violence. That's alleged to have happened last night, a little before 8 p.m. Excuse me, a little before 8 p.m. You are presumed innocent of that. Anything you say about it could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. And just a second.
Sí, ¿hablas español?
No. No, whoever's on the phone, ¿usted es un víctima en un caso?
Sí, soy la víctima.
¿Quién es el acusado?
Emilio Ramos Herrera.
Ok, ya ha terminado un 20 minutos ago, ayer. And so, just a second, un momento. We get.
Sí.
Vamos get el translator so he can let you know what happened. Un momento.
Sí.
Okay, so, Mr. Crestwick, apologize for that. Okay, so as to the assault allegations, sir, you're presumed innocent. Anything you say about it could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. If I release you, sir, will you do a couple things? Will you stay away from the alleged victim, Miss Parrish? And will you come back to court in the future?
Oh, yes, sir. No more problems.
And I see that she is your roommate, so I'm assuming that you have belongings at that residence that you would need to get. Is that fair to say?
Well, yes, I can live in the trailer behind our trailer, a camp trailer away from or out of the
Okay.
house.
So long as you are out of the wherever her dwelling is, like as long as you are not living in the same area that she is, and you have no contact with her, then you're solid. Okay, as long as you do those two things. Now, if you do have things, let's say that you have to enter her residence to get items that belong to you. I don't know whether you do or you don't, but if you do, you can do that one time, and that's going to be with a law enforcement officer, and that's just to make sure that nothing squirrely happens, basically. And so I'm checking a box in here that's going to on your paperwork that you're going to get that says that, so that you can go back one time. Does that make sense, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm ordering again, no contact with the alleged victims. Do not go to her residence or place of work. No alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. With all of that said, you're going to be released on your promise to appear. Next court date will be on July 28th at 9 a.m. That's July 28th at 9 a.m. You're going to get paperwork that says this. It's going to be in justice court. And last thing I got to tell you, sir, is that you have to come back to future court dates, because if you do not do that, a warrant will issue for your arrest. All right.
Right.
Thank you, sir. You're excused.
All right, thank you. Sure.
You sure?
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Harry Fisher, Jr.
Bueno. Bueno.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Fisher, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed disorderly conduct and assault, both alleged to be acts of domestic violence. Looks like it's alleged to have happened last night about 10:30 in the evening. You're presumed innocent of these allegations. Anything you say about them could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. And just a second. All right, so the alleged victim is Anissa Martinez. She indicated that she does not object to further contact with you, does not object to your release from custody. And so for that reason, I'm willing to release you, sir, with certain conditions. I'm going to tell you what they are, and then we'll be done here in just a moment. So the conditions are that you possess no firearms or weapons, consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. And are you willing to follow those conditions, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so in light of that, I'm going to release you. Your next court date is going to be on July 28th at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be in justice court, so please come on back for that hearing. If you don't come back for that hearing, sir, you will get a warrant for your arrest. You may find yourself in the same seat you're in now. All right,
Okay, thank you.
you're excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Could you please tell me your name?
Linda Franklin.
Mr. Franklin, this is your initial appearance. Seeing you on a few things. I'm seeing you on 3 cases out of Pima County Justice Court. One alleges a failure to appear in relation to criminal trespass in the first degree. Actually, 2 of the allegations involve allegations of criminal trespass in the first degree. Another one is a shoplifting incident. These both stretch going back to November of 2025 until late March of 2026. Also seeing you on a couple matters out of Tucson City Court. Those involve allegations of criminal trespass in the 3rd degree and possession of drug paraphernalia. So you're presumed innocent of all these allegations, or anything you say about them could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. I am seeing a fairly substantial failure to appear history, and that's noted by pretrial as well. And it looks like you may have been released to pretrial previously on maybe the city matters. I'm not certain on that, but in any event, given the sum total of what's before me, sir, I am going to order that you be held on a $250 cash as secured bond on the justice court matters. That's going to be one bond for all 3 of those cases. So it's not, it's just one bond across them all. I'm going to set a court date for you. That's going to be tomorrow at 1 p.m. That's July 2nd, 1 p.m. for a video review. And I'm appointing attorney Jeffrey Grinkowicz to represent you, sir. And so his information will be on the paperwork that you get. I'm ordering that you not go back to the incident location where the shopliftings and the criminal trespasses are alleged to have occurred. Consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. And I just need to type in that the bond's going to be concurrent. So give me just a second. I'll get that done. Okay, so that takes care of the city case. I'm sorry, the 3 justice court cases. Now we're going to turn to the city cases. And on those, I am also going to hold you on a $250 cash secured bond, sir, and set your next court date on those. That's going to be on July 10th at 1:45 in the afternoon. That's going to be for a video review in front of Judge Verena. And ordering is to those cases, sir, that you not go back to the incident location, no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. Appointing the city public defender to represent you. And that takes care of it, other than I need to let you know, sir, that if you get out of custody and you don't come back to court, you will get a warrant for your arrest if you miss court dates in the future on any of these court dates in the future. You could actually be taken to trial on the city court cases if you were to take into trial on those matters and convicted in your absence and could not be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction. You would lose the ability to appeal your conviction. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You're excused. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good.
All right, so I think we have the interpreter on. No, that's Miss Goodman, and we have Mr. Everola.
Your Honor, I'm still trying to get the interpreter on the line.
Yeah, thank you. No problem. We'll stand by. Thank you.
Or I can assist, Your Honor. I don't know what the court prefers.
No. We're gonna wait for the certified interpreter. Not to say that you couldn't. It's just the more prudent way to go about it.
Understood.
Good morning, sir. Could you please tell me your name?
Good morning, Orlando Rodriguez.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, this is your initial appearance. And I am seeing you on charges that allege that you committed 3 counts of disorderly conduct, all of which are alleged to be acts of domestic violence. And those are alleged to have happened last night around 8 p.m., a little after 8 p.m. You're presumed innocent of all 3 of those allegations, sir. Anything you say about them could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. Just a second. All right, so the 3 alleged victims, 2 of whom are your sisters, 1 of whom is your mother. Pretrial services tried to reach out to all 3 of them, only were able to get a hold of your mother. Your mom does not object to your release from custody, does not object to you having further contact, and does not object to you returning to the residence on South Providence Drive. A question I have is, do Yaylani and Yesley, do they both live at that same residence as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so because I don't know where their head's at on whether or not they're okay with your release, they might be, they might not be. I don't know because we don't have that information. I'm ordering that you're going to be released from custody. However, you have to stay away from that residence, given that they live there also, for the time being. That can be changed by a judge in the future, but for today's sake, that is the rule. Are you willing to follow that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so to set your next court date, it's going to be on July 28th. That's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning in justice court for an arraignment. You're going to have that information on paperwork you get. No alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. I'm writing no contact with Yesley or Yaylani. All right, and last thing for me, sir, is that you got to come back to future court dates, because if you do not do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest, so you'll find yourself back in custody, okay?
Okay. One last thing, Judge, is would he be allowed to return home to pick up personal items?
Yes, thank you for that reminder. Yes, that's a good point. So what you can do, sir, is you're able to go, presumably you have stuff in the home that you would want to collect. You're able to go back there one time with law enforcement to do that. And so the way that works is usually you would just need to contact probably somebody at the sheriff's department. I would either call the non-emergency line, don't call 911, but call like the sheriff's department, their 7-digit number, and ask to have a deputy accompany you for that process. Or you could go into one of their substations and ask for the same thing to happen. This happens pretty routinely, so they should know what you're talking about and they can make it happen, okay? Have a good day.
Thank you. For sure.
Madam Chair, thanks for coming. All right, so we're going to go back to Mr. Ramos Herrera's matter. And so, Madam Interpreter, if you could please interpret that to the victim that we did see Mr. Ramos Herrera earlier.
Muy buenos días, le habla la intérprete. Esto es para la víctima del caso del señor Ramos Herrera. Dice el juez en este momento que el caso del señor Ramos Herrera ya fue ventilado a su momento.
And ma'am, you must be Miss Hernandez. Are you Miss Alba Hernandez?
¿Usted es la señorita Alba Hernández? Mire, si su teléfono está desactivado el volumen, oprima estrella 6, por favor, para que se active el volumen. And the interpreter has asked for her to
Unmute.
start, yes. Señorita Alba Hernández, ¿nos escucha? Señorita Alba Hernández, oprima por favor estrella 6 para que se le active el volumen.
So I will
Yes.
just, okay, very good.
Gracias.
Okay, so ma'am, he was seen earlier.
Entonces, señorita, mire, él se ventiló ya el caso del señor Herrera hace un momento.
I did see in the information from pretrial services that you objected to his release.
Us-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Y yo veo en el reporte de servicios preprocesales que usted no está de acuerdo en que él salga.
And objected to him having contact with you and objected to him coming back to your residence.
No. Y también que usted puso objeción para que él vuelva a la casa y para que él tenga contacto con usted.
Y no quiero contacto con él porque dijo que me iba a matar.
Yes, I don't want any contact with him because he said he was going to kill me.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. So one thing that I did do, ma'am, is I ordered that he have no contact with you at all.
Muy bien, pues muchas gracias por darme esa información. Y sí, entonces en mi orden, la que yo di es de que él no puede tener ningún tipo de contacto con usted.
I ordered that he not go back to your residence or the incident location.
También ordené que de él no puede volver al lugar del incidente o a su residencia.
However, I did release him from custody so long as he would follow those conditions.
Mas, sin embargo, sí lo dejé bajo libertad mientras y siempre y cuando él siga estas condiciones.
And I also allowed him to return to your residence one time with a police officer to gather any belongings that he might need to gather.
También yo le he permitido al señor volver a la residencia una vez nada más, pero ir acompañado de un policía para que así él recoja sus pertenencias.
And so other than that, he must stay away and he must have no contact with you.
Aparte de eso, él no puede tener ningún tipo de contacto con usted y no se puede acercar a usted tampoco.
I set his next court date for August 4th at 9 a.m.
La próxima audiencia para el señor Ramos Herrera será el día 4 de agosto a las 9 de la mañana.
That's going to be in Tucson City Court downtown.
Esto será en el Tribunal Municipal, aquí en el centro de la ciudad.
You have a right to be present at that hearing if you would like to be, but you are not required to be there either. It is up to you.
Y usted tiene el derecho, como víctima, a estar presente en esa audiencia. Mas, sin embargo, usted escoge si quiere comparecer o no.
Do you have any questions for me, ma'am?
¿Tiene usted alguna pregunta para mí?
Sí, lo que pasa que él vivía aquí con nosotros, pero él, al venir por sus pertenencias, él no tiene a dónde vivir. Yo lo que quería era que si podía internarlo porque él no está bien de su mente. Él es un peligro para nosotros. Yo ya no puedo vivir así. Mi hijo
Permítame.
también tiene. Sí.
Disculpe que la interrumpa, disculpe. So, yes,
Sí.
if he comes and picks up his belongings, he has no other place to live. He only has us. So what I wanted to ask is if he could be hospitalized or in a place where he can get help because he's not well and he's a danger to us.
I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am, first of all. And second of all, there's not a whole lot that I can do about that at this hearing today, other than to order that he not have any contact with you.
Siento mucho, señora, la situación por la que está pasando, pero aparte de dar la orden de que no puede volver o tener contacto con usted, no hay mucho que pueda yo hacer el día de hoy en esta audiencia.
However, you as a victim have rights to provide input on what you think ought to happen, and you're providing them today. You can provide them in the future too.
Y más sin embargo, como víctima, usted tiene derecho de proveer o de decir qué es lo que quisiera que pasara o qué atenciones recibiera el Señor, así como lo ha hecho usted aquí el día de hoy, así lo puede hacer también en un futuro.
And so I would encourage you to call the Tucson City Prosecutor's Office.
Le animo a que llame usted a la oficina de la Procuraduría de la ciudad de Tucson
And let me know what you think about him needing treatment and how that would be beneficial for him and so forth.
y déjele saber usted que él necesita el tratamiento, que eso sería beneficioso para él. Todo lo que usted quiera decir, se los dice a ellos.
Because they may be able to involve that sort of thing as his case plays out, potentially.
Porque ellos pudieran entonces avisarle a las personas que le pueden dar la ayuda.
Ajá, sí. Y me puede dar el número de teléfono para hablar, para ver si lo pueden internar, porque él no tiene a dónde irse. Si él viene por su pertenencia, él se va a ir a la calle y yo quiero un tratamiento porque él no está bien. Yo tengo miedo de que me esté esperando en algún lugar y hacerme daño porque él dijo que me quiere matar, dice que me quiere ver muerta. Entonces lo que yo quiero, un tratamiento que esté encerrado, que le den un tratamiento para que él deje de consumir lo que está haciendo.
Permítame.
¿Me puede dar un teléfono? Sí.
Well, yes, and could you give me the phone number so that I can call? Because I would like for him to get treatment. I don't want, because if he leaves, he comes and picks up his belongings, he will not have a place to go and he will be living on the streets. And I'm scared because he says that he wants to kill me and see me dead. So I'm scared that he will be waiting for me somewhere. So I would like to have him hospitalized or in a place where he could receive the help that he needs.
All right, thank you again for that, ma'am. The phone number for the victim services, the phone number for the Tucson City Prosecutor's Office is 520-791-4104.
Mire, muchas gracias. Mire, déjeme, ¿tiene pluma y papel listo para darle el número?
Sí, sí.
Es el 520-791-4104 y esta es la oficina del procurador de la ciudad de Tucson.
Ajá, entonces hablo ahí para decirles lo que quiero que hagan con mi hijo.
So I called them and let them know what I would like for them to, how I would like for them to proceed with my son.
Yes,
Sí.
yes. However, because he was just seen this morning by the court, they may not have much information on the case until sometime next week because it takes some time for them to get the file and everything else.
Mire, sí, mas sin embargo, como apenas se ventiló la causa de él aquí el día de hoy, ellos no van a tener información en este momento. Sería hasta la semana que entra, porque toma tiempo para que ellos reciban toda la información.
Sí.
¿Ok?
Pero yo al hablar, disculpe, yo al hablar ahorita lo pueden dejar, se lo pueden llevar, se lo pueden llevar a algún lugar donde él pueda estar en un lugar encerrado.
Yes, but if I call right now, will they be able to take him to a place where he will not be locked up or without having to be on the street?
No, the honest answer to that is no. They probably would not be able to make that happen between now and next week.
Mire, para ser honesto, no. No creo que eso sea posible de hacer entre hoy y la semana que entra.
Entonces, si ahorita viene mi hijo, él se va a ir a la calle, él va a andar en la calle.
So if he comes today, will he be on the street then?
Yes, if he has nowhere else that he can go and he abides by the court's order that he cannot stay with you, then that means that unfortunately he would need to get a hotel or he would need to do something. Otherwise, he would be on the street, unfortunately.
Mire, sí. Y hoy ya tiene la orden de que él no puede volver a su casa. Y si no hay otro lugar donde él pueda ir, entonces sí, desafortunadamente va a tener que ir a la calle o tal vez si él pudiera pagar algún hotel.
Sí,
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you coming on, and hopefully I've answered some of your questions, but we need to move on with the rest of the calendar. If you have other questions, I would encourage you to call the city prosecutor's office. They can help you, and you're entitled to that help as a victim.
Mire, y muchas gracias. Y siento mucho, pero tengo más casos y tenemos que seguir procediendo con el resto de los casos. Y si tiene usted más preguntas, entonces le animo a que llame al número de teléfono que le di.
sí, gracias.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Gracias a usted.
All right, and at the jail, sir, could you please tell me your name? All right, Mr. That's Robert Tacho?
Yeah.
All right, thank you for your patience, sir. So this is your initial appearance. And thank you, Madam Interpreter. Appreciate it. All right, so I'm seeing you on a couple things. So I'm seeing you on a warrant alleging that you failed to appear on a drug paraphernalia allegation at a Pima County Justice Court. Also seeing you on, let's see, 3 files at a Tucson City Court involving charges that you allegedly failed to appear in relation to criminal trespass, drug paraphernalia charges. And it looks like you may have a new charge from yesterday at around 2 p.m. Alleging criminal trespass, criminal damage, and drug paraphernalia. On all these matters, you're presumed innocent, sir. Anything you say about them could be used against you. You do have the right to remain silent. I got to be honest with you, you're really on the borderline in terms of me releasing you or imposing a bond. If I release you, sir, will you come back to court?
Yes, sir.
Right. I need you to do that because I'm taking a little bit of chance here, and I would imagine the next judge won't be so kind if you do come back on another warrant. So I got 2 court dates coming for you in 2 different courthouses. On the Justice Court matter, that's going to be on July 28th at 9 a.m. You're going to get paperwork that says all this. I'm ordering that you possess no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs on that. Going to release you on your promise to appear, but you got to come back to court, like I said. Then move into the city matters. On those, I'm going to release you as well and set your next court date for, that's going to be August 11th. So again, 2 different court dates, 2 different courthouses. You're going to get paperwork that says all this. And that's August 11th. And it's going to be at 9 a.m. It's going to be in front of Judge Bond. And ordering that you not go back to the incident locations where these criminal trespasses are alleged to have occurred. And last thing I got to tell you, sir, is that, if you don't come back, you're going to get another warrant. You kind of know that already because I said it. But also on the city court cases, you could be taken to trial on those cases without you even being there if you didn't show up. If you were convicted at those trials and couldn't be sentenced within 90 days because you were not there to be sentenced, you'd lose the ability to appeal your convictions. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks. Have a good day. Yes.
Argo.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Good morning. Could you please tell me your name?
Well,
All right, Ms. Barbeau, this is your initial appearance. And I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed assault and disorderly conduct, both of which are alleged to be acts of domestic violence. You are presumed innocent of both those allegations. Anything you say about them could be used against you. And you do have the right to remain silent. And so I did review the information from pretrial services. And the alleged victim is Mr. Jordan, Andrew Jordan. He does not object to your release, does not object to your return to their residence, and does not object to further contact. So I'm willing to go along with that. I'm going to release you on this matter, and your next court date is going to be on August 4th at 1:30 in the afternoon in front of Judge Million. You're going to get paperwork that says this. You're going to be released on your promise to appear. The conditions are that you possess or consume no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, and come back to court for your next court date. You willing to do those things, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. So if you don't come back to court, I just got to tell you this, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. You'll probably be in the same seat that you're in now, having a less than stellar morning. And also, trial could go forward in your absence if you were convicted at that trial and could not be sentenced within 90 days because you weren't there to be sentenced. You'd lose the ability to appeal the conviction, okay?
Okay.
All right, have a good day.
Jose.
Good morning, sir.
Morning,
Just tell me your name.
Aaron Closely.
All right, Mr. Kosei, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges alleged that you committed assault and criminal damage, both of which are alleged to be acts of domestic violence. And I did review the information from pretrial services. You're presumed innocent of these allegations. Anything you say about them could be used against you. And of course, you do importantly have the right to remain silent. And I am willing to release you on this. However, the alleged victim, Miss Narciso, her input on whether or not she's okay with your release couldn't be gotten before the court date today. It looks like pretrial tried to reach out to her, but was unsuccessful in doing so. So I am willing to release you, but you can't have any contact with of any kind with Miss Narciso, and that includes not going back to her residence or the incident location. Are you willing to do that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. And is the resident, her residence, is that a shared residence? Do you live there too?
No,
Okay. Well,
sir, space.
let me ask it another way. So do you have belongings at that residence that you would need to collect?
Yeah,
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check a box on your paperwork that says that you may return one time with law enforcement to get whatever belongings you need to get. So there's, basically contact the Tucson Police Department either by going to a substation or by calling their non-emergency line. Don't call 911. And asking to have an officer accompany you for the purpose of going over there to collect some belongings. And then you can do that. Go over there, get your stuff, and then ship shape after that, all right? Your
All
next court date is going to be on August 4th, 1:30 in the afternoon in front of Judge Million. You got to come back to future court dates, sir, because if you don't do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. And trial could actually go forward in your absence. You could be convicted without even being there. And if you couldn't be sentenced within 90 days because you didn't show up, then you'd lose the ability to appeal that conviction, all right? Have a good day, sir.
Ahora me es Yeah, that's for you.
Good morning, Mr. Dorme. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right, good. All right. So this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a charge and alleged that you committed assault. It's alleged to be not an act of domestic violence, just a count of assault. It happened yesterday, a little after 4 p.m. And so you're presumed innocent of that. Anything you say about it could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. Looks like you have a probation hold. So that means that no matter what I do, you are going to remain in custody. Give me just a second. Yes, and so I do see that probation hold in relation to the other matter. So on this, I am going to, just a second. I'm going to set a non-transport review. That's going to be on August 14th at 9 a.m. And that's basically just to track along with the probation matter.
which courtroom is that in, Judge?
That's going to be Judge Clotes. It looks like he's going to be handling that. So Judge Clotes, City Court. And on this, I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. However, like I said, you do have that probation hold. I'm ordering that you have no contact of any kind with the alleged victim. And that is alleged to be a Miguel Acevedo. And I am going to add the city public defender just so they can kind of help coordinate with your felony stuff. And that will take care of it. Other than I got to let you know, sir, that if you get out of custody and you don't come back to court, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. You could also be taken to trial on this matter, and you could be convicted in your absence. So if you didn't show up for trial and you got convicted and couldn't be sentenced within 90 days because you weren't there for sentencing, you'd lose the ability to appeal that conviction. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Oh, 1 sec, sir. Oh. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell me your name.
Angela Jabalera.
Jabalera, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed disorderly conduct, assault, and another count of excuse me, 5 counts of disorderly conduct, 1 count of assault, all of which are alleged to be acts of domestic violence. Give me just a second. This is all of those counts are alleged to have happened last night about 10:30. You're presumed innocent of all of them. Anything you say about them could be used against you, and you do, of course, have the right to remain silent. And just a second, I'm looking at pre-trial. So if I release you, ma'am, there's given the allegations, there's several victims here. We've got Miss Claudia Perez or Paredes, maybe, Mr. Worthington, James Worthington, Gabriel Thompson, Miguel Cañez. If I release you on this matter, are you willing to have no contact with any of them? Do not go back to where they live. And are you willing to do that, ma'am?
That's correct.
Okay. And the reason why I say that is because pretrial services reached out to them. They weren't able to get in contact with any of them. And so because of that, I don't know how they feel about all this. So until a judge says differently in the future, you got to stay away from all of them. And as long as you're willing to do that and you're telling me you are, I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. Give me just a second. It should write all that in. So do you live with any of these folks?
No, sir. I live by myself.
Okay, that helps.
Or with
That helps. So again, no contact with any of the folks I listed off. Their names are on the paperwork too. And possess and consume of alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence. I'm going to release you on your promise to appear and set your next court date. It's going to be on August 4th. You'll get paperwork that says this, but August 4th, 1:30 in the afternoon. It's going to be in front of Judge Million at City Court. And the last thing I got to tell you is that you got to come back to future court dates, because if you do not do that, not only could you get a warrant for your arrest and find yourself probably in the same seat you're in right now, but you could also be taken to trial in your absence. And if you were convicted at that trial and could not be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction because you didn't show up for that process, then you could lose the ability to appeal that conviction. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You're excused.
Raleigh.
Good morning.
Right.
Please tell me your name.
Nice play.
Right. This is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges alleged that you failed to appear in relation to a theft and or shoplifting allegation and possession of drug paraphernalia. You are presumed innocent of that. Anything you say about it can be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. If I release you, will you come back to court?
Yes. Right.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to release you on this matter, but if you don't come back, you're going to get another warrant. So please come on back. And next court date is going to be on August 10th. It's going to be at 10 a.m. You're going to get paperwork that says this. And I'm ordering that you not go back to the incident location where this theft or shoplifting is alleged to have occurred. And Not only could you get the warrant if you don't come back to court, sir, but you could actually be taken to trial in your absence. If you were convicted at that trial, couldn't be sentenced within 90 days of the conviction because you were not present to be part of that process. You'd lose the ability to appeal your conviction. All right, thank you. You're excused.
What time was that, Judge?
Let's see, 10 o'clock on August 10th.
Thank you.
Martinez.
Good morning.
Morning,
Please tell me your name.
Anicia Martinez Villa.
All right, Mr. Martinez, this is your initial appearance, and I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed assault alleged to be an act of domestic violence. It's alleged to happen last night about 10:30. You are presumed innocent of that. Anything you say about it could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. Give me just a second. All right, so the alleged victim, Mr. Fisher, we saw him earlier, and I released him. I'm going to release you too. He said he was unsure if he wants further contact with you. So given that ambiguity, I'm going to permit contact. And your next court date is going to be on July 28th at 9 a.m. That's going to be for an arraignment, ordering that you possess no firearms or weapons, no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. And you got to come back to that court date because if you don't do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. All right?
Sir,
Thanks. You're excused.
sir, excuse me, on vacation. Thursday, leave. Is that okay? So just ask him.
Judge, there's a question regarding her release conditions. She's supposed to go on vacation. She's concerned as to whether or not that would be a violation here of her release conditions if she were to leave for that.
I'm okay to add that. Where are you going, ma'am? Just like, are you leaving the state? Or...
Yeah, I'll be in Kearney, Nebraska from Thursday to Sunday.
Okay.
This coming Thursday to this Sunday.
That's fine. I'm going to write that in here. Just give me a second.
Okay.
So it's from July to Sunday.
Yeah.
All right, so I did include the condition may leave the state of Arizona for the purpose of travel to Kearney, Nebraska from Thursday, July 3rd through Monday, July 6th. I give you an extra day, just hopefully you don't hit delays or anything, but you never know. All right.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let's see what. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell me your name.
Huh?
Your name. Tell me your name.
Oh, my name is Christian David Alexander.
All right, Mr. Alexander, this is your initial appearance. I am seeing you on charges that allege that you committed shoplifting as a felony and then also possession of direct paraphernalia. You're presumed innocent of that allegation, sir. Anything you say about it could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. Also seen you on 2 warrants one out of Pima County Justice Court, one out of Tucson City Court, alleging failure to appear. One of them relates to a shoplifting allegation. Another relates to some sort of parks violation. And so in order to prepare for this hearing or review the information from pretrial, the information and the interim complaint, and the state's recommendation, which is that I told you on, just a second, I had it here a minute ago. There it is. $5,000 with a release to pretrial services if that bond is posted. Ms. Goodman, anything further?
Your Honor, I'll just highlight that the state's recommendation is what the court just highlighted. The defendant is currently on multiple warrants. There's a history of shoplifting.
All right, thank you. I caught most of that. You are breaking up a little bit though, just FYI. And it could be on our end for all I know. The court also notes that Mr. Alexander is a 6 out of 6 on the failure to appear scale. So Mr. Colesrud, what's the defense's position?
Your Honor, I would ask that you release Mr. Alexander to pretrial services. I recognize that there's obviously the concerns that pretrial services has laid out, and there's some failures to appear alleged on warrants out of Justice Court and City Court. That being said, this was charged as a Class 4 shoplifting based on allegations of previous arrests as the basis for that. I don't believe that that's sufficient, Judge, to be found guilty of the Class 4 felony shoplifting. One must have committed shoplifting, and then beyond that, have committed or been convicted of a number of previous shoplifts or other related charges within the past 5 years. The record that I have in front of me for pretrial services shows 1 burglary conviction in the past within that 5-year period, but I'm not seeing other convictions or other information regarding Mr. Alexander alleged to have committed other offenses beyond just some case numbers indicating arrests, which we don't know the disposition of and pretrial services hasn't noted. So I don't believe that there's actually probable cause here for the Class 4 felony shoplifting. And so based on that, Judge, and in light of the concerns that the court, I'm sure has, I would ask that you release Mr. Alexander to pretrial services, or in the alternative, impose a bond if that's what you're going to do, an amount that he might actually have the capacity to afford. $5,000 is far and above, that number for him. And so I'd ask that you take that into consideration as the rules require you to do.
All right, thank you. And so the court is going to hold Mr. Alexander on a $1,000 cash secured bond. I do, as it relates to the probable cause argument, the court does know that the statute relates to convicted or having committed. I agree that it makes it more tenuous, the state's ability to prove it, than it had he been convicted of a sufficient number of predicate offenses. But nevertheless, the interim complaint substantiates the existence of other cases, one of which is a case that we're going to talk about a warrant on in a moment here. For those reasons, and given that probable cause is merely a reasonable belief, the court finds that there's sufficient basis to find probable cause. So it's a $1,000 cash secured bond, no firearms or weapons, no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. Sir, please do not return to the incident location where the shoplifting is alleged to have occurred. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on July 13th, 1:30 in the afternoon. Please stay, and your attorney is a public defender. I don't think I've said that yet, but you are represented by the public defender's office. So please stay in contact with them as your case plays out, sir. They can talk to you more about what else is going on, including that preliminary hearing date that's coming up on the 13th. If I haven't said this, you will be released to pretrial in the event that the bond gets posted or you otherwise get out of custody. So please comply with any monitoring or treatment that they ask you to comply with. Then let's turn to the other 2 failures to appear. We're going to start with the Justice Court matter first. And that again alleges failure to appear in relation to a shoplifting allegation. As to that, I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. Set your next court date on July 28th. It's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning for an arraignment. Ordering on that one also that you not go back to the incident location where the shoplifting is alleged to have occurred. No alcoholic beverages, illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. And that takes care of that. We're going to turn to the city matter now. And again, that's some sort of failure to appear in relation to a parks allegation. Don't really know what the city code is on that, but nevertheless, I'm going to release you on it. And your next court date on that is going to be on August 3rd. And that's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning in front of Judge Hale in Tucson City Court. And going to be on your promise to appear, no other conditions on that. And so last thing I got to tell you, sir, is that if you do get out of custody, you must come back to court. If you don't come back to future court dates, sir, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest, and you'll probably be in the same seat you're in now. There's a good chance of that. Also, on the city court case, they could actually take you to trial on that in your absence. If you were convicted on that case in city court without being present and couldn't be sentenced within 90 days because you were not there to be sentenced, you'd lose the ability to appeal the conviction. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
So they're holding me? Till when?
Well, until then, that gets posted.
Morning, sir. Morning, sir.
Please tell me your name.
Efrain Alvidres.
All right, Mr. Is it Alvidres Ochoa?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. So this is your initial appearance, sir. I'm seeing you on a charge that alleges that you committed aggravated domestic violence, and you are presumed innocent of that allegation. Anything you say about it could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. Also seeing you on a warrant alleging that you failed to appear in relation to a driving on a suspended license allegation at a justice court. That relates back to something that is alleged to have happened in mid-January of this year. On all this stuff, on all this stuff, you're presumed innocent. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about these matters could be used against you. And in order to prepare for this information, I did review the information in the interim complaint, the information from pretrial services and the state's recommendation, which said I hold you on a $5,000 bond with pretrial services release if that bond is posted. Ms. Goodman, anything further you'd like to add?
Your Honor, I do highlight the information presented by the victim. She does have concerns of safety, which was the information provided in the interim. I also do see that the defendant is currently on DV probation that is scheduled to end until 2028. There is a DV history, and now he's before the court on new charges.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Colesry.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm asking that you release Mr. Alvidres to the supervision of pretrial services. He's working full-time in construction. He does have other family members who live in the Tucson area that he could go stay with. He believes he'd be able to stay with his grandmother. And so the thing I would point out here is pretrial services was able to get a hold of the alleged victim in this case, Efrain's mother. And she did say, though she doesn't want to have contact, obviously, or have him return to the home, she doesn't object to his release. The allegations here are just that, they're allegations, and that it's a window was broken, which is, of course, an upsetting event, but nonetheless, nobody here was injured. And I think that the court can certainly take that into consideration. You've got a young man in front of you who would very likely stand to lose his job if he was to remain in custody. So I'm asking, Judge, that you give him a chance on pretrial services so that he can remain out, continue to work, and participate in his defense from the outside.
Any help, Judge, you recommend? I'm just having a hard time being a man. There's classes or anything.
Yeah, there's different supports out there, sir, that can help you with that. And I don't want to listen to the whispers, but Mr. Colesrud, that's a good conversation to have with your attorney, because I have limited ability to do that today, but that sort of stuff can be navigated as necessary in the future. So given the information that's before me, the court is going to order that you be held on a $3,000 cash secured bond. If you post that bond, you're going to be released to pretrial services. So please comply with any monitoring or treatment that they ask you to comply with. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on the 13th of July at 1:30 in the afternoon. Also ordering that if you do get out of custody, no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, no contact of any kind with the alleged victim. So no contact means no contact. That means no phone, no in person, no contact. If you're still in custody, cannot contact her from the jail. Do you understand that, sir?
Thank you.
That involves not returning to the victim's residence and or place of work. And so that takes care of that. And then we're going to turn to the justice court matter. On that, I'm going to release you on the driving on a suspended license allegation. Release you on that. Your next court date is going to be on July 28th at 9 a.m. That's going to be for an arraignment. And on that, ordering that you not drive without a valid driver's license. And that takes care of all of this, other than to let you know that you got to come back to future court dates, because if you do not do that, then a warrant's going to issue for your arrest. You'll find yourself back in custody. Okay. Have a good day.
I'm sorry, Judge, what was that last date? I just want to make sure that we've got that right.
No, you're fine. It's July 28th at 9 a.m. July 28th.
Thank you, Judge.
Yep. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Please tell me your name.
Julio Sergio Castillo.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. So this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on two different charges, and they are alleging that you committed aggravated assault, strangulation, aggravated harassment, aggravated domestic violence, and kidnapping. All of the charges that I mentioned are alleged to be acts of domestic violence. You're presumed innocent of all of them. Anything you say about them could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. I'm also seeing you on a warrant. Just a second. A warrant on a different matter, a felony matter alleging domestic violence that relates to an incident that is alleged to have happened on January 26th of 2026. On all of these matters, as I said, sir, you are presumed innocent. You also have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about it could be used against you. In order to prepare for this hearing, I did review the information in the Form 4C that was provided. I also reviewed the information in the interim complaint and the state's recommendation, which is that I hold you on a $100,000 bond as it relates to the new interim complaint arrest. But I'm not sure that I have a recommendation for the warrant matter, but I could just and I'm missing it. There it is, $25,000 on the warrant matter with release to pretrial on that if the bond's posted. Ms. Goodman, anything further?
Your Honor, I will highlight the defendant does have a history of domestic violence, but most importantly, on the new case, there is a concern for an ongoing risk to the victim. There were significant injuries the defendant did make, serious threats, also the lethality of the offenses that are before the court. The state is in the belief that a higher bond is necessary. In addition, as to the grand jury warrant, the state is also respectfully asking the court to impose the $25,000 bond requested, also based on the domestic violence charges that are before the court.
All right, thank you. Mr. Coulter.
Yes, Your Honor, I'd ask that, I imagine the court is going to impose the bonds that have been, as requested, though I would ask that you do so concurrently with one another, such that Mr. Castillo might have the opportunity to actually afford to secure his release. I can't really speak to the issue with the grand jury warrant, simply because I don't have any information on that beyond that evidently a warrant had been issued. As for the allegations in this new matter, we don't have a lot of information. We've got a complaint with, certainly one side of the story, but there's always two in a situation like this. I imagine that this is a case that will get potentially set for a preliminary hearing since the county attorney's office is doing that now. And I think that, you know, at that point in time, more information will come to light. So given that, you know, the circumstances here, Your Honor, I would ask that you impose a bond that Mr. Castillo might be able to afford, and that you do so concurrently with the bond in the warrant matter, such that he would have the opportunity to participate in his cases, you know, from within the community rather than here in the jail.
All right, thank you very much. So I haven't said this yet, I don't think, but first of all, the court is appointing the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent you, Mr. Castillo. So you'll be represented by the legal defender. And the court is going to, as to the new interim complaint arrest, the court is going to impose that $100,000 cash secured bond. Court does have, you are presumed innocent, of course. It's important to note, sir, but the allegations in the interim complaint are very concerning. The responses in the Form 4C are very concerning as well. For that reason, it's a $100,000 bond. No alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, no contact with the alleged victim. No contact means no contact. If you remain in the jail, sir, you cannot contact her from the jail. You can actually get new charges by doing that. So don't do it. And if you're out of custody, no contact with her out of custody. Do not go to her residence or place of work. And so that takes care of that one. I think I said this preliminary hearing, July 13th, 1:30. Apparently I did not say that. So as to the warrant matter, switching to the warrant matter, I am going to impose a $10,000 cash secured bond on that one. However, it's not going to be concurrent. It's going to be a separate bond. You're going to be released to pretrial services if that bond is posted on that one. Again, no firearms or weapons, no contact with the alleged victim there. And do not go to the alleged victim's residence or place of work. Appointing the legal defender on that case as well. And your court date, next court date is an arraignment. It's going to be 1 week from today. That's July 8th, 1:30 in the afternoon, Pima County Superior Court. If you do get out of custody, sir, you must come back to that court date and any future court dates, because if you do not do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. All right. Thank you. You're excused. Good morning, sir.
Hi. It's Matt Gran Francisco.
Francisco, this is your initial appearance. I've seen you on charges that allege that you committed organized retail theft, aggravated shoplifting, theft, and burglary, all of which are alleged to be felonies, excuse me, not acts of anything, but felonies. And you're presumed innocent of them. Anything you say about them could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I am going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. In order to prepare for the hearing or review the information in the interim complaint, the information from pretrial and the state's recommendation, should I hold you on a $20,000 bond, cash secured, with release to pretrial if you post that bond? Ms. Goodman, anything further?
Your Honor, the state highlights the elevated number of times the defendant victimized her local business, and the amount of theft that was against the business that is a concern for the state. And also there is a probation violation history. That's the basis for the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Colesreed.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm asking that you release Mr. Francisco to the supervision of pretrial services. He's got a place to go to with his cousin. Pretrial services spoke with her. Her name's Amber. She verified that. She's also willing to provide transportation. So he's got a place to go and a way to get to his court hearings. As for the allegations in this particular complaint, Judge, I've got some concerns regarding the probable cause basis for the organized retail theft and then also the aggravated shoplifting. So as it relates to the ORT, I'm not seeing anything in the written complaint about how the what they're presuming to be a theft or shoplifting rises to the level of organized retail theft. There's no allegation as it's described of the the use of an artifice, instrument, container, device, or other article to facilitate the removal of merchandise. There's no concealment alleged in the complaint. This was, as it's been claimed, taking items from a store and simply walking out the front door with that. That's not organized retail theft. There's no probable cause to believe that those elements would be met here. And so I'm asking Judge to disregard that count. As for the aggravated shoplifting, I imagine the basis for this is, the number of alleged incidents, apparently according to it started in June of 2024. The issue is those incidents have to be within 90 days of one another, at least 3 of them, for that element to be met for aggravated shoplifting, the class 5 felony. We don't have any dates. We have a start date and then the date by which Mr. Francisco here was arrested, but nothing to indicate that any 3 of these alleged incidents occurred within 90 days of each other to count as a continuing criminal episode. And so there's no probable cause for the shoplifting count for that reason as well. So I understand, the court's probably got some concerns here, but at the end of the day, Judge, Mr. Francisco, as I said, has a place to go with family, transportation to and from court. Sounds like there's going to be some pretty serious issues that the state is going to have to overcome as it relates to this case. And it certainly doesn't merit a $20,000 bond. So for these reasons, Judge, pretrial supervision is going to be appropriate in this matter. Thank you.
All right, thanks. So I do agree that the interim complaint is a little skippy as it relates to having all of the particular details that one would like to see. However, the court does believe that at a minimum, there is a probable cause for the burglary count. And actually, I find probable cause for all of them. However, I do note the fact that the court is making the determination that there is probable cause as to the organized retail theft allegation based on the sheer number of total theft incidents at one particular store or one particular chain involving power tools. 23 thefts of power tools is enough in the court's estimation to make it reasonable to believe that he does not have 23 power tools in his garage that he uses for, home improvement projects and the like. So for that reason, narrowly, the court does believe that there's probable cause. However, I'm not going to impose that $20,000 bond. The court is going to impose a $5,000 cash and secured bond for Mr. Francisco. And it's going to be pretrial services release if that bond is posted. No firearms or weapons, no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. Do not go to any Home Depot store, Mr. Francisco. Do you understand that? Your days of going to Home Depot are over. Do you understand? Yes, okay. Very good. Next court date's a preliminary hearing on July 13th. Public defenders appointed to represent you. Keep in contact with them and they can talk with you more about what else going on, sir. Last thing from me, and then we're done, is that you got to come back to future court dates. If you do not do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. All right? You're excused. Thank you. Good morning, sir. Please tell me your name. Mr. Olguin, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you possessed a narcotic drug and that you possessed drug paraphernalia. You're presumed innocent of those 2 allegations. I'm also seeing you on just a second. Seeing you on a misdemeanor matter out of South Tucson City Court, alleging that you failed to appear in relation to a theft or shoplifting incident. And so you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about this stuff could be used against you. And in order to prepare for the hearing, I reviewed the information in the interim complaint, the information from pretrial and the state's recommendation, which said I hold you on a $3,000 cash and secured bond as it relates to the felony matter, set a steps court hearing, and with a release to pretrial if that bond is posted. Miss Goodman, anything further?
Yes, Your Honor, it's a concern as to the defendant's probation violation history. He was recently revoked from his probation as of last year. There is a history of failing to appear. This is a co-defendant case. Based on the nature of the offense, the defendant was charged with personal possession. Nonetheless, the state believes that a bond is necessary in order to assure his appearance.
I think Mr. Poldry.
Yes, Your Honor. If you're going to impose a bond, waiting for Mr. Olguin here to be screened for steps, which I believe is what the next step would be. I'd ask that you do so in a nominal amount that he be able to afford his release. I think $3,000 would be too high given the circumstances here, the conduct alleged. We're not talking about you know, what's alleged to be an enormous amount of drugs. It's, you know, very clearly something that, you know, is eligible for steps because what's alleged is essentially personal possession. And so for these reasons, Judge, I don't think a $3,000 bond is appropriate. I'd ask that you do so in a nominal amount that Mr. Hogan could afford his release if in the off chance.
All right, thank you very much. The court is going to impose a $500 cash secured bond, pretrial services if that bond is posted. The court notes that pretrial services does place Mr. Olguin at a 6 out of 6 on the failure to appear scale. No firearms or weapons, no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. And I'm not going to ask for a PH waiver given that he's held in custody. The preliminary hearing is going to be on July 13th at 9 a.m. And sir, one thing I got to tell you, Mr. Olguin, is that it looks like you might be eligible for a program called STEPS. And so if you are eligible for it, it's a good opportunity in the sense that it gives you a way to have this entire case dismissed before you ever get indicted, let alone convicted. It's a good opportunity if you're eligible for it. The way that you, the way,
When will I know? When will I know about that?
yeah, I'll tell you, I'm going to tell you, give you a little more deets right now. So the way it would work is that if you agree to participate in drug treatment and you actually do the drug treatment and you do a couple other things that the program requires, then the whole case gets dismissed. You don't need to make a final answer today on whether or not you want to do this, but are you interested in learning more about that possibility, sir?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to set a steps court hearing. It's going to be 1 week from today. It's going to be on July 8th at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be in front of me, Judge Hotchkiss, 3rd floor, Superior Court. And at that time, if you're still in custody, you'll be brought to court if you are eligible for the program. If you're out of custody and you're eligible for the program, then come on down to court. You're going to want to talk to your attorney at the public defender's office between now and next week, and they can tell you more about all that, and you can learn more about the program and so forth. So that takes care of that. Now we're going to move on to the South Tucson matter real quick. And on that, again, we got the failure to appear on that theft allegation. As to that, I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. Your next court date in South Tucson City Court, it's going to be on July 14th at 10 o'clock in the morning. And on that, I'm ordering that you do not go back to the incident location where this theft is alleged to have happened. And that takes care of that. Last thing I got to tell you, sir, is that if you get out of custody, you got to come back to court, because if you don't come back to court, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest and you'll probably find yourself in the same seat you're in now. All right?
All right.
Thanks, sir. Have a good day. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell me your name.
Alyssa Leva.
Ms. Levin, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed promoting prison contraband, you possess dangerous drugs, and you possess drug paraphernalia. On all of these things, you are presumed innocent of them. Give me just a second. And this relates to an incident that is alleged to have happened on May 14th of 2025. And in order to prepare for the hearing, I reviewed the information in the interim complaint and the state's recommendation, which is that I that I hold you on a bond of $7,000 with pretrial services release in lieu of being held without bond, because it does, the state's information suggests that you may have been on release for a different felony offense at the time that this new offense was committed. And I am not seeing a pretrial services report though, so I'm going to see what information I can find, but let me turn to Ms. Goodman first. Ms. Goodman, anything further you'd like me to know?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant is also currently on a warrant for that other pending matter, for which she was granted release. And looks like she failed to appear again for that arraignment. There is a bond requested of the $5,000 as to the pending matter, which is CR 2026-2590. And the concern is there's a new offense before the court. I do see separate dates, Your Honor. It looks like it was May 14th, but there's also allegations of offenses for the dangerous drug that took place on June 30th.
All right, thank you, Mr. Coulter.
Yes, Your Honor. So I was not provided with a complaint for any of these, so I don't have any information as to what the state is alleging happened here. But what is in the pretrial services reports for these different matters, I think it's fairly complicated, the situation here. From what I can tell, Ms. Leyva here was arrested and released pending arraignment in the matter for which she was arrested on May 26, 2026. And she was released to pretrial services on June 1st. It's clear that the notice of the supervening indictment had come back to the courts, returned to sender. So there wasn't, I think, proper notice given to Ms. Leyva here that she had in fact been indicted. And so when she was picked up, based on the statements that she made, is that she wasn't aware that there is a warrant, and she wasn't aware that she was supposed to appear for court on the date that the supervening indictment had put down for the arraignment. So I think that there had been an issue there with her getting that notice, which is understandable, and this happens from time to time. The problem is, Judge, as it relates to that promoting prison contraband count, the date for that is May of last year. So, as it relates to like an on-release allegation for that, I don't think that that's accurate at all, because it sounds like the state either didn't know about this previous situation, which I find hard to believe, and learned about it after Ms. Leyva's release on June 1st, or held it in the back pocket to drop on her at a time most convenient for the state. Either way, that's not an on-release allegation. For that case, as it relates to the ones for which she was most recently released on. I'd ask, Judge, that you release her to pretrial services so that she has the chance to, kind of right the ship, get in court for her arraignment, and get things back on track here. Like I said, it appears things got a little bit sideways, but that's not a reason to hold her in jail on, the amounts that the state is alleged or is asking for here, which is far and above her ability to afford. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So first of all, I don't believe that anything nefarious happened, that this was like, the timing of this was done tactically. I don't see any evidence of that. However, the court does note that this is conduct that it predates the most recent case that is CR 2026-2590. So I don't believe that there's a basis for the on-release allegation there. So the court does note that Ms. Leyva is a 6 out of 6 on the failure to appear scale. All things considered, the court is going to impose a bond, but not the $7,000. And so the court is going to impose a $1,500 cash secured bond as it relates to the prison contraband interim complaint. That's the only thing that's on the calendar today. As to the failure to appear on the CR 2026 matter we discussed, that's not being seen today. I would imagine you'll be seen for an initial appearance on a bench warrant on that, probably sometime next week, and probably in front of me or Judge Miller, one way or the other, probably one of the two of us. And so we're not talking about that one today, but you'll have an opportunity, and your attorney will have an opportunity to talk about release conditions on that one later. For today's sake, it's the $1,500 bond, and that's going to be cash secured with pretrial if you post that bond. Public defender is going to be your attorney on that. Preliminary hearing July 13th, no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. Last thing that I need to tell you, ma'am, is that if you do get out of custody, you got to come back to court, because if you do not do that, a warrant's going to issue for your arrest. All right. Anything further, Mr. Colesroon?
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I just do note there might be another interim forthcoming, because I do see at least, or in the pretrial service report, that there was an offense dated 6/30. That was the basis for the reason for the request for the no bond, Your Honor. But other than that, that was
I'm not sure. So some of this is a mystery to me, in the sense that I'm looking at pretrial. It looks like she was booked at a little before 7 a.m. yesterday. And it does reference more charges than we're talking about today. The June 30th incident. What I think may have happened is I think she may have been seen on that last night, on some of this stuff last night. I can't say that for certain, though. The jail website is not reflecting that having happened. The interim complaint was signed last night, so that's all I can say about it for now.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the jail notates that she was seen last night.
Okay. Got it. All right, thank you very much. Yes. Yep. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Tell me your name.
Mr. William Love.
Mr. Love, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed burglary in the second degree, trespassing, criminal trespass in the first degree, and assault. And so, let's see. On all these matters, you're presumed innocent. Anything you say about them could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. And you also have the right to be represented by an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. And in order to prepare for the hearing, I have reviewed the information in the interim complaint, the information from pretrial services and the state's recommendation, which is that I hold you on a $25,000 bond in lieu of a no bond hold. And one thing I will note is that, and I'll give you the opportunity, both counsel, the opportunity to try and convince me otherwise, but I don't believe that there's probable cause as it relates to the burglary in the second degree allegation. I do find probable cause as it relates to the first degree trespassing and then the assault, but as to the burglary in the second degree, I'm not seeing it. So with all of that said, and the state recommending that $25,000 bond with release to pretrial, Ms. Goodman, anything further?
I would just note, Your Honor, the victim did sustain injuries. The defendant is currently on a federal release. That was the basis for the recommendation as well.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Coldrew.
Judge, I'm glad you recognized the issue with the burglary in the second degree. You saved me the arguments to make, but as it relates to release, Judge, I'm asking that you impose a nominal bond. I think $25,000 is frankly quite high given the circumstances. We're talking about what's alleged to be an F6 in a class 1 misdemeanor. I understand that there's the allegation that he's on release for a federal matter, and there may be, issues, or bond or custody that he ends up in as a result of that. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. As it relates to the release conditions here, I think it's fairly obvious he's got a home to go to and a mother that he shares the residence with. It seems from what's alleged here, this was an issue over, with neighbors who were, I guess, picking a fight or causing issues with his mother. I think, anybody can certainly understand why that would be upsetting. But, the fact of the matter is he's got a place to go to. He's got people that he lives with that he obviously cares very much about. And I'm asking, Judge, that you impose a nominal bond that Mr. Love here might have the opportunity to afford. He's currently unemployed. And so I'd ask that it be no greater than, say, $1,500, such that he, has the opportunity to secure his release here.
All right, thank you very much. The court is going to impose a $5,000 cash secured bond on this matter with release to pretrial services if that bond is posted. Additionally, sir, given the information in pretrial services on the reference your federal case, the alleged federal case, it looks like you may be released to pretrial services on that matter as well. So the court is including the condition that you must report to your federal pretrial services officer within 72 hours of release if you do get released. So basically check in with them, let them know that you had law enforcement contact, and then they can, do whatever it is they need to do if they need to do anything, but you need to tell them that. Also ordering that you not consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. Public defender is going to be your attorney. Preliminary hearing July 13th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Anything else on this? Hearing none. All right. All right. So one last thing, sir, is you got to come back to future court dates. If you do not do that, a warrant's going to issue for your arrest. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Marco.
Good morning, sir.
Your Honor.
Could you please tell me your name?
A1 Marshall Mack.
All right. Just a second. All right, so this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed aggravated assault, deadly weapon, dangerous instrument, and unlawful discharge of a firearm in the city limits, excuse me. You are presumed innocent of both those allegations, sir. Anything you say about him could be used against you. You do, of course, also have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I am going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office information in the interim complaint, along with the information from pretrial and the state's recommendation, which did I hold you on a $5,000 bond with a release to pretrial. Ms. Goodman, anything further?
Yes, Your Honor, in consideration of all the information presented in the interim, the state does highlight there were 2 shot wounds on the victim, but nonetheless, the main concern the state has, the injuries, but also the fact that the defendant left the scene before law enforcement arrived, even though he was told to remain on scene. And based on the nature of the offense, Your Honor, that was the basis for the recommendation.
All right, thank you. Mr. Colesbury?
Your Honor, I'm asking that you release Mr. Marshall Mack to the supervision of pretrial services. He's got no criminal history, no prior felony convictions, anything of that sort. He is employed full-time. He's got a family. He's got a girlfriend and a young daughter and a residence to go to. So this is somebody who's, a contributing member of our community and someone who's, I imagine his family is very much relying on, for their continued support and payment of living expenses. All that being said, the other issue I have, Judge, is this being charged as an aggravated assault as a class 3 felony. That requires an underlying misdemeanor assault. I would imagine here we're looking at under 1203A1, intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly causing any physical injury to another person. Here's the problem, Judge. Unlawful discharge in the city limits is when somebody intentionally, knowingly, or even with criminal negligence discharges a firearm. And I think based on what the state has alleged in this circumstance here, that's essentially what their story is that this was a negligent discharge of a firearm, which is a mistake made when cleaning. This happens regularly. It's why gun safety is important, but there's a difference between recklessly firing a gun off and hitting somebody and negligently doing so. And negligence doesn't rise to the level of mens rea required under misdemeanor assault, which means it doesn't rise to the requisite mens rea for aggravated assault as charged here. So the way I see it, Judge, this is a 1 count discharging a firearm within city limits. And based on that, Judge, and based on Mr. Marshall Mack's history and the circumstances with his family, the fact that he's employed, I'm asking that you release him today to the supervision of pretrial services for this case. Thank you.
I do tend to agree with your argument as negligence not equaling recklessness. However, there is such a subtle distinction between the two of them in the sense that negligence refers to a failure to perceive a risk that a result may occur, whereas recklessness relates to consciously disregarding a risk that a result may occur. That is fairly subtle in the court's estimation, and I think that the law views it that way as well. And also, given that the allegations allege that Mr. Marshall Mack was cleaning the firearm and in a manner where somebody was near him, potentially downstream of the muzzle of that firearm, the court does believe that there's probable cause for the aggravated assault count. Maybe a grand jury or the county attorney's office will disagree with me, but for today's sake, I do find probable cause. I am going to release him to pretrial services, though, because I do believe that this was clearly not an intentional act based on all the available evidence that is available. It does seem to have been accidental or something more than that and taking the form of recklessness. You can be both reckless and, achieve an accident along the way, in the court's opinion. In any event, released to pretrial services, preliminary hearing July 21st, 1:30 in the afternoon. Additional conditions, Mr. Marshall Mack, are that you consume or possess no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. He cannot possess any firearms or weapons. Submit to any monitoring or treatment that pretrial services wants you to comply with. No contact with the alleged victim, and do not go to the alleged victim's residence or place of work. You understand that, sir?
Yes, I understand.
All right, very good. So I'm going to release you on those conditions, and you just got to come back to future court dates, because if you don't do that, a warrant's going to issue for your arrest. All right?
Okay.
Thank you.
You can-
There's a DOC hold here.
Good morning, sir.
No,
Please tell me your name.
Alessandro Munoz.
This is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a few different things. So I'm seeing you on felony charges, and we're going to talk about some other misdemeanor stuff in a minute. But the felony charges allege that you committed shoplifting, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of a dangerous drug. You're presumed innocent of those allegations. Also seeing you on 3 warrants at a Tucson City Court alleging that you failed to appear in relation to criminal trespass in the, 1 count of criminal trespass, 1 count of shoplifting, 1 count of theft. Those are different failure to appear in other cases. I'm also seeing you, just a second, on another failure to appear. Second. On a shoplifting allegation at a justice court. So on all these matters, you're presumed innocent, or anything you say about it could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. And in order to prepare for the hearing or review the information from pretrial services, the information on the interim complaint, the state's recommendation, which is I hold you in a $5,000 cash or secured bond. And Ms. Goodman, anything further on that?
Yes, Your Honor, when the recommendation was made, I didn't have the full report, and looking at the fact that the defendant does have a parole violation warrant and the multiple fails to appear, and his criminal history, the state believes the bond is appropriate.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Colesrud, I'm going to hear from you, but I did not say that he's going to be represented by the legal defender's office. I neglected to say that. So LD will be the attorney, and Mr. Colesrud, is to the bond or release conditions. What would you like me to know, sir?
Your Honor, I just asked that you impose a nominal bond so that he gets the back time. He's got, as you know, we've heard already, a DOC hold here. I don't know when that's set to expire, but at any rate, he's going to remain in custody. If that expires before, this case gets resolved, he would obviously like to be in a position in which he'd have the chance to bond out. So I'm asking that you do so in a number he could afford. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And to the jail, do we? I see on pretrial that his status shows that he's on parole, but is there a hold in place?
Yes, Your Honor. The judge confirms that there is the parole hold.
All right, thank you very much for that information. So, all things considered, the court is going to impose a $3,000 cash secured bond on the new case, and it's going to be released to pretrial services if you post it and get out, or you otherwise get released. No firearms or weapons, no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. Do not go back to the incident location where the shoplifting is alleged to have occurred, and that takes care of that. Preliminary hearing July 13th at 1 p.m. So Green Valley, PH, so just FYI. And then turning to the Justice Court, misdemeanor failure to appear. Again, reference a shoplifting allegation. On that, I am going to release you and set your next court date as an arraignment. That's going to be on July 28th at 9 a.m. Ordering that you not go back to the incident location where that shoplifting allegation is alleged to have occurred. And no alcoholic beverages, illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. And that takes care of that. And then we're going to talk about the city stuff real quick. So in the city cases, failures to appear in relation to 2 counts of criminal trespass, 1 count of shoplifting, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia. On those, I am going to hold you on a $250 cash secured bond. And set your next court date. That's going to be a video review on July 10th at 1:45 in front of Judge Verena. And additionally, going to order that you not go back to the incident location where these incidents are alleged to have occurred. No firearms or weapons, no alcoholic beverages, illegal drugs. Appointing the city public defender to represent you. And last thing I got to tell you, sir, is you got to come back to court. If you don't do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest, and trial could go forward in your absence on the city court cases. If you were convicted in your absence because you didn't show up, and you couldn't be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction because you weren't there to be sentenced, you could lose the ability to appeal the conviction. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Over.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
Good. Could you please tell me your name?
Christopher Palmer.
All right, Mr. Palmer, this is your initial appearance. Seeing you on charge that allege that you possessed a narcotic drug possessed drug paraphernalia, and that you committed weapons misconduct insofar as you were alleged to be a prohibited possessor in the sense that you're not legally allowed to possess a firearm potentially, and that you possessed one. The court, I will tell you right now, I'm inclined to find no probable causes to the prohibited possessor allegation, is because, and I say that because I couldn't find any information in the interim as it relates to his status as a prohibited possessor, but we can table that for a moment. Just wanted to flag that. So on all these allegations that I'm talking about, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about them could be used against you. And you do have the right to an attorney, and you are presumed innocent. And so the attorney is going to be the Pima County Legal Defender's Office. And in order to prepare for the hearing or review the interim complaint, the information from pretrial, and the state's recommendation, which is I hold you on a $10,000 bond with a release to pretrial services if that bond gets posted. Ms. Goodman, anything further, and do you want to be heard further on the prohibited possessor count?
No, Your Honor, the state defers to the court as to them, that count.
All right.
And referencing the recommendation, Your Honor, the state still believes a bond is necessary in this case. The defendant does have a history of offenses similar to what he's before the court, which includes conspiracy to distribute other type of substances and involvement with weapons. In addition, the fact that the defendant did sell the narcotics, in this case, there is a concern with the quantities. We're talking about fentanyl powder in this case. So the state believes a bond is necessary as he is facing mandatory prison.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Coldren.
Yes, Your Honor. We concur with the court as it relates to the prohibited possessor count. Glad the court has recognized the issue with that on the complaint. As it relates to the drug sales, just to correct the record here, what is alleged to have occurred is a sale of 20 blue M30 pills, rather than the what they claim to be a sale for fentanyl powder, which was alleged to have been discovered in the same hotel room. So it's not a sale of powder, it's a sale of pills. I recognize that, legally that's not much of a distinction, but I think factually it very much is. Beyond that, Your Honor, Mr. Palmer here is disabled. He had been living in that hotel, so he did have a place to stay, though I imagine that he wouldn't, beyond today. Given that, Your Honor, if I'd ask that you release him to the supervision of pretrial services, or in the alternative, a bond that Mr. Palmer here could actually afford, given his indigent status and his ability, to work being somewhat or significantly impaired by the fact that he's disabled, and between housing right now, he's in a difficult spot to be sure, but that's not a reason to keep him in jail. So for these reasons, Judge, I'm asking you release him, or in the alternative, impose a nominal bond within his ability to pay. Thank you.
All right, so it's a close one, but I'm willing to release you, Mr. Palmer. The court notes that you are a 3 out of 6 on the new criminal activity scale by pretrial, and a 2 out of 6 on their failure to appear scale. Relative absence of other criminal history, so far as I can tell. It looks like you have one prior case from 2013 that you finished up supervision on in 2022. In light of that, and the seemingly nonviolent nature of what's going on here, well, if you were to be engaged in the business of selling fentanyl, that clearly is destructive to others in our community. The court is willing to give you a chance on release. You're going to be released to pretrial services. Next court date's a preliminary hearing. That's July 21st at 1:30 in the afternoon, ordering that you not possess any firearms or weapons, no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. Legal defender is your attorney once again, and that should take care of it, other than to let you know, sir, that you got to come back to future court dates. If you don't do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. All right?
Yeah.
You're welcome. Have a good day. Yes. Okay. Yeah. It's fine.
Well. Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning.
Please tell me your name.
Vincent James Ramon Sr.
Ramon, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you possessed a narcotic drug, possessed a dangerous drug, and that you possessed drug paraphernalia. You are presumed innocent of all these allegations, sir. Anything you say about him could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. You do also have the right to be appointed Pima County legal defender to represent you. In order to prepare for this hearing or review the information in the interim complaint, the information from pretrial and the state's recommendation, which is that I hold you on a $3,000 bond with a release to pretrial if that bond gets posted instead of steps court hearing. Ms. Goodman, anything further?
Your Honor, I do know the defendant does have a probation violation warrant. I'm not seeing a hold yet. That's the basis for also for the recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Colgrove.
Your Honor, given the fact that we're looking at potentially a steps eligibility hearing, I think it's in his best interest, obviously, for Mr. Ramon to participate in that. If you're going to hold him, Judge, I'd ask that you do so at a nominal amount, similar to other steps cases, just in the off chance that this doesn't move forward in the steps arena, that he would have the opportunity at a later date to secure his release. Given his indigency and his living situation, I think that a low bond is appropriate here, giving him the actual opportunity to afford to participate in his defense from the community. Thank you.
No problem. And to the jail, I know things are happening pretty quickly here, and given that the warrant is from out of county, do we know if there's a hold on that Maricopa County matter?
It's a probation violation out of Maricopa County, Your Honor.
I agree. Given that the warrant issued, I'm assuming that that's acting as a hold. I just wasn't sure if that had been confirmed or it should be a hold, I'm assuming. So
It's booked as a probation violation. Normally, as soon as locals are included, Judge, we notify Maricopa and they book it with us.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. So given that it seems as though he's not going anywhere, given the warrant, even though the hold is not specifically referenced by pretrial, it's got to be a hold. The court's going to impose a $2,500 cash secured bond for Mr. Ramon, set the next court date. Well, I'm going to talk to you about a program called Steps in a second, but I'm going to set a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on July 13th, 1:30 in the afternoon. And again, legal defenders, the attorney, no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. It also looks like you might be eligible for a program called Steps, sir. That's a maybe yes, maybe no. It might depend on your criminal history. The charges involved here are eligible for them. And so what that means is that if you're eligible for it, it gives you a way to have this entire case dismissed before you ever get indicted, let alone convicted. The way that you would get that dismissal is by agreeing to participate in drug treatment and actually following through and doing that treatment and staying in contact with pretrial services as the case plays out. You do all that and you're eligible for the program, then the whole thing gets dismissed. It's a really good opportunity. Don't need a final answer from you today, but are you interested in learning more about that possibility?
Yes, I am. I am interested in.
All right, good.
I would. Yes.
Good. So we're going to set a steps court hearing. It's going to be 1 week from today. That's going to be on July 8th at 9 a.m. It's going to be in front of me, Judge Hotchkiss, in Superior Court. So we'll see you then, sir, if you're still in custody. And if you're eligible for the program, you'll be brought to court. You can talk with an attorney more as necessary, all that good stuff. And if you want to enter into the program and you're eligible, you can do it then. So that should take care of it, other than to let you know that if you do get out of custody, you got to come back to court, sir, because if you don't do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. All right?
Yes.
Thank you. Have a good day.
I guess. I need you.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Please tell me your name.
Gerardo Rodriguez.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a charge that alleges that you solicited to sell a narcotic drug. And to that charge, you are presumed innocent. Anything you say about these matters could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. And just a second. So it looks like he was actually booked in under 1338-408A2, so the typical narcotic drug possessed for sale. But there is the solicitation that's referenced in the interim complaint. In any event, presumed innocent under either scenario. You also have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I'm going to appoint the Pima County legal advocate to represent you. In order to prepare for the hearing and review the information from the state pretrial services and the interim complaint, the state's recommending a $7,500 bond with a release to pretrial services if you post that bond. Ms. Goodman, anything further?
Your Honor, considering that he's the third co-defendant from the other matters that the court already heard, the state does also highlight the defendant's criminal history.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Coldry.
Yes, Your Honor. The big thing here as it relates to the criminal history is the age of the offenses listed as priors. I mean, we're talking stuff in the early 90s and early 2000s. So the most recent one, it appears that, we're talking about a sentencing ending in 2019. So I understand that there is, a criminal history that's described here. I would ask the court to take into account the age, the nature of it, the length and time between the offenses alleged today and the past, and also the release conditions of the co-defendants that the court has released or released on bond earlier this morning. So for these reasons, Judge, I'm asking that you release Mr. Rodriguez here to pretrial services, or in the alternative, impose a nominal bond he would have the opportunity to afford given his financial situation being what it is.
All right, thank you. The court notes that Mr. Rodriguez shows a 4 out of 6 on the NCA scale and a 3 out of 6 on the failure to appear scale, according to pretrial services. Given the relatively old nature of the criminal history and the fact that this involves a small quantity of drugs and the moderate risk that's posed for failing to appear and otherwise, the court is willing to take a chance on Mr. Rodriguez, sir. But will you come back to court, Mr. Rodriguez, if I let you out?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to release you to pretrial services. Your court date's going to be on July 21st at 1:30 for a preliminary hearing. Please stay in contact with your attorney at the legal advocate because they can talk with you more about all that and everything else that's going on. Ordering that you possess no firearms or weapons, no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, and please submit to monitoring or treatment as pretrial would like you to. And last thing I got to tell you is that you got to come back to future court dates. If you do not do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. All right.
Yes.
Thanks. You're excused.
Marshall?
All right, she may just be last. All right, morning, sir. Could you please tell me your name?
It's Calvin Russell.
All right. This is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed aggravated assault, impeding airway, and kidnapping, both of which are alleged to be acts of domestic violence. You are presumed innocent of them. Anything you say about them could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. In order to prepare for the hearing or review the information in the interim complaint, the information from pretrial and the state's recommendation, which is I hold you on a $30,000 bond with a release to pretrial if that bond is posted. Ms. Goodman, anything further?
Your Honor, the state highlights the high lethality of the charges that are before the court. There's also a concern that it's an ongoing risk to the victim. Based on the information in the interim complaint, there is a third party who overheard the arguments, and the defendant also did prevent the victim from reaching out on getting help from multiple parties, which would include her father, I believe was the brother as well, and the mom. For those reasons, Your Honor, the state believes because of the charges, we don't have victim input. Nonetheless, the concern for the ongoing risk, a higher bond is recommended.
Thank you. Mr. Folger.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd ask that you release Mr. Russell here to the supervision of pretrial services. I understand the seriousness of the offenses alleged, but the circumstances here, I think, as the court is no doubt aware, right? There's two sides to every story. I think that there's quite a difference to the story on each side in this particular matter that I'm sure will, the truth will be borne out at a later date. That being said, Mr. Russell is employed. He does evidently have housing separate and apart from the alleged victim in this matter that he would be able to reside at. Beyond this, Your Honor, Mr. Russell has no criminal history, has no prior convictions. The state mentioned in its recommendation a history of failure to appear for court hearings, but I'm not seeing anything in pretrial services regarding other court hearings that he apparently had failed to appear to, and in fact, they note none. So I think, the situation being what it is, Mr. Russell would very much like the opportunity to assist in his defense and work with counsel to, get to the truth of what did not happen that night, and do so, under the supervision of pretrial services, without contact with the alleged victim, living apart from her, so that there is no further risk. I think that those conditions would be appropriate, and it'd be appropriate to release him in this situation.
All right, thank you. Just a second.
And Your Honor, just
Yeah.
reviewing the information, I do do an oral motion to amend that part. It was an error on my part. I blended in some of the other cases, it seems like, but the flight risk, I don't see warrants. So that was an error. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Just a second. All right, so the court is going to hold Mr. Russell on a $15,000 cash secured bond with release to pretrial services if that bond is posted. Next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on July 13th, 1:30 in the afternoon, with the following conditions. You are to consume no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, sir, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons. You are to have no contact with the alleged victim, and no contact means no contact. If you're in the jail, you may not contact her by calling her or anything of that sort. If you're out of the jail, you may not contact her at all, in person, telephonic, whatever. You cannot go to her residence or place of work. Do you understand all that, sir?
Yes.
All right. In light of all that, $15,000 is a bond, cash secured. We have told you the preliminary hearing date. You must come back to future court dates, sir. If you do not do that, a warrant's going to issue for your arrest. All right. Thank you. All right. Good morning, sir. Could you please tell me your name?
Victor Morales, Vaqueros Quiros.
All right. This is your initial appearance. Senior on charge of alleged that you possess a dangerous drug, possessed or paraphernalia, and also the senior two failures at Tucson City Court, one of which relates to a misdemeanor arson-related damage, destruction of property, sort of thing. Another alleges criminal trespass. And on all this stuff, you're presumed innocent. Anything you say about these matters could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. In order to prepare for the hearing or review the information from the state, the interim complaint, and pretrial, the state's asking for a $3,000 bond with release to pretrial services that bond is posted, setting the steps toward hearing as well. Court notes that there's a probation hold in relation to a felony matter, so it seems that is going to hold Mr. Siqueiros no matter what. So, Ms. Goodman, anything further?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Colesrud.
No, Your Honor, just the steps hearing be set and a nominal bond imposed, given the probation hold and then the potential steps hearing.
All right. Thank you. So the court is going to order a $500 cash secured bond, set a preliminary hearing for July 13th at 1:30 in the afternoon. order no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. Public defender, again, is going to be your attorney. Also, sir, it looks like you might be eligible for a program called STEPS. I don't know that for sure, but you might if you are eligible for it, because it gives you a way to have this whole case dismissed before you ever get indicted, let alone convicted. The way that you would earn that dismissal if you're eligible for it is by agreeing to participate in drug treatment and actually following through and completing the treatment requirement. If you do all of that, sir, and you're eligible for the program, the case gets dismissed, and it's really a good opportunity. I don't need a final answer from you today, but are you interested in learning more about that possibility?
Yes.
All right, very good. So we're going to set a STEPS court here, and it's going to be a week from today. It's going to be next Wednesday, July 8th, 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be in front of me in Superior Court. So assuming that you're eligible, you'll be brought to court if you're still in custody. And if you're out of custody, you must come to that hearing on the 13th. If you are eligible, you'll talk to an attorney between now and then. Because if you do not show up to that hearing and you're out of custody, then you could lose the ability to participate in the program, could get a warrant for your arrest, all these other things that are not very good. So that takes care of that. And then on the city court matters, I am going to, looks like I talked about two of the city court charges, but you've also got other charges alleging disorderly conduct, criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, possession of drug paraphernalia. And on all the city court stuff, I am going to release you on that, and I'm going to set what's called a non-transport review. That's going to be on, actually, hang on just a second. So I'm going to set the non-transport review, and that's going to be on August 14th at 9 a.m. in Tucson City Court. If you're still in custody, then you'll be seen. If you're out of custody, then you need to show up to court to that hearing. I'm appointing the city public defender to represent you. And on these, I'm ordering that you have no contact with any kind with the alleged victims. Do not go to the incident locations where these incidents are alleged to have occurred. And that takes care of it as to that, except I got to let you know that if you don't come back to future court dates, not only could you get that warrant, but on the city court cases, they could actually take you to trial on those cases in your absence. And if you were convicted at those trials, going to be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction because you didn't show up, you could lose the ability to appeal the conviction. Do you understand that, sir? All right, thank you. There you go. Oh, that's closer. And then at the jail, do we still have Miss Looper? I don't know if she's being seen tonight or what the story is.
She's not available currently, Judge.
Okay, so is she being brought down, or is she going to be seen tonight, or what's the story on that?
She's out of the facility, Your Honor.
Got it. Okay, so we're going to show her matters continue to this evening. Is she at the hospital, or is there information that can be shared as to why she's not able to be seen today? I just want to include that.
Are we still on live, Judge?
Yes, we are. So I don't believe that there's information that we can provide at this time,
Okay,
Judge.
that's fine. Then I'll leave it at that. I'll assume there's a good reason for that. All right, folks. Thank you all very much. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.